This is the BG Climbers for the week ending 2/16/2022. This list is put together every week by Michael Alexander. I'll include links in the description below if you want to take a look at the actual geek list. Let's get into it. I will say we're going to look at some of the ones below the top 10 this week because there aren't a lot of new games in the top 10. I want to take a little bit deeper to look at them. So the first one is Notable Followers. Chronicles of Crime has clearly peaked, been falling for quite a while. I think that the new versions of it seem to be getting most of the attention these days. I wasn't a huge fan of the original Chronicles of Crime, but I want to try these new versions of it and see if they add a little bit of flavor to the game. Sub 10, we have Brian Baru. This one is continuing to do, upper sevens, which likely means it's not going to end up in the top 100. I think it's going to top out in the top 1,000. Adrians Wall continues to do pretty well. So this one we watched earlier, this is a heavier roll and write, and I think it's maybe one of the more successful heavy roll and writes. It's already at 455 with only 2,000 ratings, an average of 8.14. So in the long run, if this continues to get attention, it actually has a chance to pull into the top 200, I think. And Terraforming Mars Aries Expedition. So this one has recovered a little bit from its initial missteps in the release. And it's already at 273. I don't think this is going to enter into the top 100, although it could if it continues to sell well. Since available at Target and other retailers, it may get some traction as a lighter weight version of Terraforming. It's a Wonderful Kingdom is the 2-player game based on It's a Wonderful World. Its rating has come down a little bit, but it's still doing pretty good for a 2-player game. Enough to make me interested in checking it out at some point with the retail version that I assume is coming. Paper Europe. So this is a 2-player game that's been doing pretty well. I think it looks good. It's gotten some good reviews out there. We'll have to see how it continues to do. Again, these 2-player games tend to not end up in the top 100 unless they're heavy, I would say heavier. Paper Europe, I think, is a fairly lightweight game, if I remember right. Maybe it's medium lightweight. But a good example of this is War of the Ring is a really heavy 2-player game that very highly rated. Vagrant Song is a game I really want to check out. This one got amazing ratings from Tom Vassell, and it looks like people are starting to pick it up. It got almost no ratings before this. I do want to take a look at this thing. So I think this was kickstarted, was it? No, the boss battle or cooperative game. Yeah, this one I really want to try out. I guess I don't own too many boss battlers, but I feel like the reviews for this are so good that I just got to try it out. And number 10 is Three Sisters. So we've looked at this one. This is a roll and write about farming, and it's been getting pretty good reviews. I don't think this is ending up in the top 100 just because roll and writes tend to not get in there. And I think roll and writes are a little bit on the downswing. That's number 10, Three Sisters. Number 9 is Mind Management, the psychic espionage game in quotations. So this one got a pretty strong review from Shut Up and Sit Down recently, and they're having another Kickstarter. So I don't think it's a game for me, but I do think a lot of people are going to like this game, and for the reasons that Shut Up and Sit Down outline. Do I think it's going to end up in the top 100? It's possible. I think the fact that Shut Up and Sit Down did a review for it right before the next Kickstarter may get it into enough people's hands that it could end up in there. But I think we need to wait and see, and that it's going to be quite a while until the second Kickstarter gets delivered. That's Mind Management. Number 8 is Great Western Trail 2nd Edition. So we've talked about this for a number of weeks. This game is going to end up in the top 100. Because it's a 2nd edition, it could even end up in the top 10, I would say. It just depends on how many people end up getting it and rating. That's number 8, Great Western Trail, 2nd edition. Number 7 is Merchants of the Dark Road. So this was a huge Kickstarter that took a while to deliver. It finally delivered, and it's getting good, solid ratings, especially for a mostly pick up and deliver game. But I do think that the pick up and deliver mechanisms tend to just not fare as well in the ratings. So that's probably where this is going to land. I think it'll end up in the top 500 games. If it has enough copies sold, with its retail release, maybe top 200. That's number 7, Merchants of the Dark Road. Number 6 is Bradlands. This game continues to do stellar on this list. I think that this 2-player game is heading into the top 100. I think that it's put out by Roxley Games. The artwork is really good, and people seem to really like this game. And it's getting a lot of attention. Roxley always does an amazing job with the presentation of the games, and I think that's driving a lot of the people giving it a try, which then can turn into ratings if they like, which clearly people really like. Number 5 is Nemesis Lockdown. So this is getting delivered to backers right now. It's the second version of Nemesis. From all the stuff I read, is even better than the first Nemesis. Obviously, most people that like the first Nemesis are gonna probably like Nemesis Lockdown. People that didn't like it probably still aren't gonna like this. It's a very similar system. 8.58. This one, assuming it has enough pickup from people, I think is very likely to get into the top 100 as well. So we're gonna have there's a lot of these big games coming out this year. I think we're gonna see by the end of the year a fair amount of new stuff on the top 100. So number 4 is Lord of the Rings card game, the revised core set. So this is it gets its own entry. I don't see it selling enough copies to end up in the top 100, but it could. I think that Arkham Horror seems to be the big living card game that Fantasy Flight, or at least the popular one. Maybe this will rejuvenate stuff, but I think it'll have a shorter shelf life than, or a shorter pickup than the Arkham Horror card game, unless some of the new Lord of the Rings stuff that's coming out this year kind of pushes this up a little bit. That's number 4, Lord of the Rings, the card game, revised. Number 3 is Ark Nova. So this is a game, obviously hitting the top 100. This one could be in the top 10, I think, given how the ratings are going. It's just getting its US release, I think, on March 15th. Probably got enormous amounts of pre-orders. It seems like everyone that plays this game, that likes Euro games, that likes Terraforming Mars, likes Ark Nova even more, which makes me want to try it because I guess I don't know if I like the theme about building a zoo as much as I like Terraforming Mars, but if it's better, I really want to try it out. That's number 3, Ark Nova. Number 2 is Wonderlands War. So we looked at this last week. This is one of the top games that I'm really looking forward to getting delivered. I played it once already. I think it's a solid game. I played a pre-release version. I played. I think I was able to. The designers were offering playtesting online. I was able to playtest it a little bit just to see how it is. I think the game is really solid. I recommend you take a look at it if you're interested in bag building with area control, and it does it, I think, in a good way. There's also a well done drafting phase, which I think adds to the game as well. The presentation is obviously really good. You can see the artwork is amazing. The miniatures were actually the ones I saw, at least the in person. They looked really good. I think even the meeples and stuff looked pretty good. There is this deluxe chipset that you can get. I think it's only available during the Kickstarter. So if you missed out, I know they have the cardboard tokens in there, and you can put them in. I think you can put them in the snappy. Overall, I'm really looking forward to play this game once it gets delivered. I think the deliveries in the United States are coming next. That is Wonderlands War. And number one, Tiny Epic Dungeons. So this is a Tiny Epic game that is a dungeon crawler. I've always admired Tiny Epic Dungeons for just how small they make stuff. And someone is really good at painting small miniatures because these are tiny miniatures with some really nice shading and stuff. I've tried to paint miniatures that are even bigger than this, and they definitely do not turn out nearly as well. I don't know who painted these things. I guess Angel Felicio work in progress core game. Looks really good. So there you have it. That is the BGG Climbers list for the week ending 2/16/2022. If you like this video, please like and please subscribe and take a look at our other videos. Thank you.